Welcome to the Messianic Expectations in Acts 17. This is a 12-part series that reviews Old Testament passages regarding the Messiah and Inter-Testamental books such as Psalm of Solomon, First Enoch, and the people and their opinions in the Second Temple period, such as the Samaritans, the Pharisees, and the Essenes. Well, let's get started with part number 2, Psalm 2, the Royal Psalm. In this psalm, we see the emphasis on the Lord and His anointed being attacked or having uproar from the nations. It says, "Why are the nations in an uproar, and the people devising a vain thing? The kings of the earth take their stand, and the rulers take counsel against the Lord and His anointed. Let us tear off their fetters apart and cast away their cords from us. He who sits in heaven laughs, the Lord scoffs at them. He will speak to him in his anger and terrify in his fury. But as for me, I have exalted my King upon Zion, my holy mountain." Now, if you look at this, let's look at both the Hebrew and the Greek tense. The Royal Psalm emphasizes against the Lord and His anointed. If you look inside of the Greek, it's kata tu kuru, kai kata tu Christu, uto. Okay, so in this you're seeing that the anointed is really the Christ. Lo Messiah. So if you look at the Messiah in the Hebrew, you will find against the Hira, Mishshariah, against the anointed, the Messiah. So if you look this is the Messiah that was promised. And when we say the Christ, we really mean the Messiah. Let's go on in Psalm 2 and see what it says, to see how this also links to the Messiah. It says in Psalm 2, 7 through 9, "I will surely tell the decree of the Lord. He said to me, 'You are my son. Today I have begotten you. Ask of me, and I will surely give you the nations as your inheritance, and the very ends of the earth as your possession. You will break them with a rod of iron and shatter them like earthenware.'" Now, remember that son in the ancient Near East meant both son and heir. This occurred in both Egyptian, Akkadian, and many of the Semitic languages. Adoptions were frequent in these cultures. In Israel, in Hebrew, the term son, ben, also means someone who is a relative or part of the same group or profession. Son of a deity, however, took on a special meaning, indicate the person was under the special protection and teachings from the deity. Now, this also occurred in the Roman Empire from 100 BC to 250 CE. It was possible that adoptions were considered both from the god to the chief ruler and from the paterfamilias, head male, to someone who was not related, but perhaps a male who would take over him. This was talked about as being a son. For example, when the older senator Nerva became the Roman Empire in 96 CE, he adopted as his son and heir Trajan, a famous general. He was doing that to set the Roman Empire on a firm forward path. Under Trajan's rule, who ruled for 19 years, it was the Christians were persecuted. So it wasn't beneficial to the Christians, but Nerva felt that Trajan would provide a solid basis for an empire that was wandering, and his economic rule was there. So as we look at this, we're seeing that when to you are my son, today I have begotten you, ask of me and I surely give you the nations. It is the God saying to David, to the Messiah, I have begotten you. I have begotten you, I have claimed you as son. Now, there it says, therefore, O king, show discernment, take warrants, worship the Lord. In Hebrew, it is Yahweh. In Greek, it is Tokiro. Do homage to the Son, lest he become angry and you perish in the way, for his wrath will soon be kindled. How blessed are those who take refuge in him. Now, the statement, do homage to the Son, could imply that the Son is different than Yahweh. In the ancient Near East, where it is accepted the Son is an earthly king under God's protection, it would be normal that those images in the kings would do homage, as kings would do homage to the God, but that others would do homage to the king so that the God would not be angry with him. For example, that's why when the Babylon said, do homage to the king of Babylonia, so the god Marduk does not hurt you, that was their concept. Because Israel was in the midst of all of that, you see the same thing occurring in Psalm 2. However, with the Messiah, Paul seems to show that this goes beyond. It goes beyond to the triune God. Well, that's the beginning of our look into the Psalms and how they have Old Testament Messianic promises and expectations that Acts 17 will work on. Next, we will cover Messianic promises in Psalm 20, and we'll include something inside of there, which is the wish prayers. Thank you very much. I'll look forward to talking to you again in part 3.